What's going on YouTube? Easy Red High here with another deck profile for you. Today I'm doing probably my favorite deck and arguably my best deck. I don't really have too many, I don't think I have any meta decks, but this is the deck that I think does pretty consistently well for me. And it is my Pan deck. And I couldn't care less about Pan in the anime, but I like the card. So Pan reads off auto once per turn. When you play a battle card, choose that card, and it gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. Then, if its power is 20,000 or more, draw one card. Her Awaken is when your life is at 4 or less. You may choose up to 2 cards, 2 of your energy, switch them to active mode, and flip this card over, which we will now do. And her Awaken side, Pan Ready to Fight, is she has the same auto once per turn. When you play a battle card, choose that card. It gains 5,000 power, and if it's at 20,000 power or more, draw a card. And she also has auto when this card attacks, draw one card. So hopefully when she flips, you should be drawing 2 cards per turn, 1 off playing a battle card, 1 off her attacking, and her once per turn is really nice because you can even get it to, it's once per any turn. So if you can get it off during your opponent's turn, you're drawing cards during their turn as well, which I have a couple cards in here to do that. But I really like Pan as a leader. She draws a pretty decent amount of cards, and not only that, but she helps boost up your battle cards. So she's helping you on 2 fronts. So I'm just going to quickly go through the deck and tell you guys how I play it a little bit. So the first thing I run is Dependable Mom Bulma. We run 4 of those. Bulma is a 1-drop, 5,000 power. Her activate main is when you switch this card to rest mode, draw 1 card, then choose up to 1 of your battle cards, and it gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So as I was saying, Pan is pretty good at drawing cards, but usually the first turn you're not going to really play anything that will get her auto to go off to give it 5,000, and if it's at 20,000 or more, draw a card. So I put Bulma in there as a turn 1 drop sometimes if I pull her, just to get me that extra card draw. And honestly, I've had games where I've played the Bulma and she's lasted pretty much the whole game, and you'd be surprised how much drawing 1 card and giving something 5,000 power helps. I guess you wouldn't be surprised if you play the game. But so on top of Pan giving something 5,000 power per turn, Bulma is also doing that and drawing you cards. I find her pretty helpful. Late game, she can be kind of useful, but usually I try to play her early in the beginning. So it's 4 Bulmas. Then we run 4 Trunks, Intensifying Power Trunks. Gotta get the hollow up there. Trunks, Intensifying Power, auto. When this card attacks, you may choose 1 card from your life and add it to your hand. If you do so, this card gains 10,000 power and critical. So that's one of the reasons I run Bulma, is because if she wouldn't be my first turn drop, Trunks would be. But he doesn't get the auto from Pan. He wouldn't be over 20,000. And I like Trunks in this deck. The critical is nice early game to try to shave some cards away from your opponent. But I keep him in here mainly for his evolution, or the card I evolve him into, which we will get to shortly. But that's 4 Intensifying Power Trunks. A big staple in many red decks. And next we have 4 Fortune Teller Baba, Earth Seer. She's pretty new to this deck that I made. I actually made a Pan deck when I first got into Dragon Ball Super around set 3, I think, or 4. Actually, what set is she from? She's from 3, so yeah, around 3, and I kind of took it apart, tried to make a Yamcha deck, because I thought that'd be pretty funny. Didn't really like it that much, ended up going back to Pan, so this is kind of an amalgamation of both those decks together. But yeah, I got Fortune Teller Baba, Earth Seer in here. She reads, when you play this card, choose up to 1 of your Earthling cards in your leader area or battle area. It gets 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. And her second auto is when you combo with this card from a battle area, draw 1 card, and then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, and it gains negative 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. So Fortune Teller Bob is nice, and this deck is pretty primarily a Earthling deck. I have very few cards in here that aren't Earthlings, I believe, so she pretty much helps everything, and my leader is an Earthling, so she can come in, boost something up, save you, and then when you combo with her, you get to draw and weaken something that your opponent has, which is pretty cool. I play her more situationally. She's kind of nice to have in the deck just in case. I wouldn't say I play her every game, but I like her as an addition. Maybe 4 is too many, maybe 3 is enough, but I've been having some decent luck with this. So we got a Fortune Teller Bob in here to help out all the Earthlings that we have. And then I believe this gets into the 2-drops. So I had this in my original one, and I honestly love this card. Dependable Robot Giru. He's a 2-drop with 5,000 power, blocker, and permanent. If Pan is in your battle area or leader area, you can play this card from your hand without paying its energy cost, which is super nice. So you basically have 4 free blockers in your deck because Pan will always be in your leader area. And just having blockers around really can save some time or give you some more time to get into your plays if you're playing a little slower with this deck. The only bad thing about Dependable Robot Giru, which I just have to remember sometimes, is when I play him, that don't play him first on your turn, because then Pan would activate either side of Pan, give him 5,000, and then he's at 10,000 and you don't draw cards. So sometimes I've kind of locked myself in where I'm like, oh, I just want to get this Giru out, and then the ability goes off, and yeah. But so just be mindful of that, play him second, but it's always nice to have a blocker to protect you or your other battle cards. So that's 4 Girus. Next we got 4 Yamchas, which I originally had in the Yamcha deck. Oh, and Giru is one of the few cards in here that is not an Earthling, but there's not too many of those. So everybody's pal Yamcha is a 2-drop with 1,500 power. When this card attacks, look at the top 3 cards. Look at the top 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 Earthling card from among them and add it to your hand. Then shuffle your deck. I like Yamcha a lot in this deck. As I said, there is many Earthlings in here, and you get a 1,500 power. So if you play him turn 2, Pan goes off, gives him 5,000. He's at 20. You draw a card off Pan. You attack with him, and then you search for top 3 cards for another Earthling, which hopefully you will get. So that's really good in my opinion. Yamcha's, he works well with this deck, with Pan especially. So he just helps you get some more card draw with Pan's effects. Next up is, these are pretty new to the deck. If you saw my announcer deck profile, I didn't even think of Pan's ability going off on your opponent's turn. I just wasn't even aware of it, but now I am. So I added 4 double shot Super Saiyan 2 Vegetas, which are a 3-drop for 1,500 power, which you will hopefully never be playing him for the 3-drop. He cost 1 for 10,000 combo power, which is the point of him, and auto at the end of a battle after you combo with this card from your hand. If your leader card is red, play this card in rest mode. So he is the primary card in my deck that I'm trying to combo with on my opponent's turn. So I play him, he comes into play, her auto would activate, I believe, unless I'm mistaken, which would totally ruin this card in this deck, but I'm pretty sure it does. So he would come into play, he's at 15, Pan would go off, give him the boost on your opponent's turn, which is kind of useless, but you do draw the 1 card, which is nice. So you're drawing cards during your opponent's turn, and you get to give one of your cards 10,000 power to survive or to buff up Pan so you don't lose any life, which is super nice. And then back on your turn, he's a 1,500 attacker for 1 that you get to draw off of. So I really like double shot Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta in this deck. Next up, we have probably my favorite card in this deck is Fearless Pan. Fearless Pan is crazy. She's a 3-drop, blocker and barrier, and auto. When you play this card, choose all your other red leader cards and red battle cards. They gain 5,000 power and double strike for the duration of the turn. So I only have 3 Pans in here because she's a 3-drop. You could play her on turn 3, but I try to hold out a little bit to get a decent board state, or at least, try to, and then get her out. She buffs everything up, gives them double strike, and she is, at that point, your board can be very hard to deal with if you have several battle cards. She also is a blocker, so she doesn't give herself the plus, which is nice. Well, I guess which is not nice. But so you play her, boost all your other things up, swing with everything, and then on your opponent's turn, you have a blocker to protect yourself if all your stuff is tapped out and you can't really do anything else, which is super nice. She's also at 1,500, so when you play her, Pan's ability would go off and you would get to draw off her as well. So I usually don't try to play her turn 3, try to hold out a little bit more, but I love Fearless Pan. It's my favorite card in the deck, and it has won me many games. So 3 Fearless Pan, and I feel like 3 is a good number. 4, I don't really ever want to have 2 in my hand of her. I wouldn't mind playing 1 and then possibly playing another, but I don't really want to be sitting with 2. That's why I only have her at 3. It's 3 Fearless Pans. We also got 3 Yamchas at 100%. Yamcha reads, he's a 3-drop at 1,900. Activate main once per turn. Burst 5. If your leader card is a red Earthling, which Pan is, card, For the duration of the turn, this card gets 6,000 power, can't have its attacks negated, and deals 2 damage to your opponent's life when it KOs an opponent's battle card. Really nice card, really good utility here. The burst will help with the super combo you will see later, and he's at 19, so if you play him, Pan boosts him up, you draw a card off him, he gives himself another 6,000. So if he's the first card you play on your turn, he will be a 30,000 attacker that cannot be countered, and when he KOs an opponent's battle card, when he KOs your opponent's battle card, he has 2 life to you, which I don't find me playing him every game, but there are some games where my opponents attack and their battle cards are rested, and it's the perfect chance just to sweep in, do 2 damage, possibly win the game. I quite enjoy Yamcha in this deck, but I don't. That's why I have him at 3. I would like to see him every game, but doesn't mean I'm going to play him every game. And he is also an Earthling, so it goes with the theme of the other Yamcha, and I quite like the artworks. All right, so that's 3 of those, and then next, this is the card I was talking about. Well, we got 4 Chain Attack Trunks. The one that Intensifying Power Trunks evolves into. He's a 4-drop, 20,000 power, 2 to evolve him a Trunks GT, which is nice because I have the other one. Permanent, this card can attack battle cards that are in active mode, but the main reason I have him in here is for his auto. When you play this card, choose up to 1 battle card from your hand with power 15,000 or less and play it. So potentially what I would like to do is get Intensifying Power Trunks out, evolve him, and then that would let me play either... The main thing I play with it is usually Fearless Pan, so I get to play her for free, and she would then boost up him, boost up hopefully the rest of the board that I have, and just in this deck with Fearless Pan, I feel like Chain Attack Trunks is really amazing, and just pretty helpful, and he can get out also everybody's pal Yamcha if you don't have a Pan, but I primarily use it to try to get that Pan out, just to boost everything else I have, and then give my opponent a hard time, That's Chain Attack Trunks. Then I have 4 Pride and Justice Topos. He is a 4-drop with 20,000 power, counter attack. Play this card and negate the attack. His permanent is if you or your opponent's leader card has 15,000 or more power, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. And his auto is when this card KOs your opponent's battle card, switch it to active mode. So he's nice. He's basically hopefully a 2-drop counter attack, and playing him would also... I'm not... The 2-drop for the counter, I'm not too crazy about, to be honest. 4 is completely... That's irrelevant playing him for 4, so it would be 2 or nothing. I have him just as another card in tandem with Double Shot Vegeta that I can play during your turn. He would get the boost. I would draw off Topo. But I find that I don't play him as often as I would like in this deck. He's one of the few cards I was thinking about possibly changing out. I like the idea of him. I just find myself never using him that often. Maybe a 3 of would be a little bit better, but just to try to get some more card draw, I have him at 4. Might work with that a little bit, but that's Pride and Justice Topo. And unfortunately, he's one of the few cards besides Giru and Vegeta, because Vegeta is not an Earthling, no, that are not Earthlings. He's an alien is his race. He doesn't get a specific one. He's just not from here. So it's 4 Topos. And then I have 2 Miraculous Comeback Ultimate Gohans, which are fantastic in this deck. He's a 6-drop at 2,500 power with double strike permanent. If you have only 3 or less cards besides this card in your hand, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand or battle area by 4. His auto is when this card KOs your opponent's battle card, inflict 2 damage to your opponent. So it's basically the Yamcha just for 2, which is nice if you have 3 or less in your hand, which isn't really that hard to get to with this deck. With the free Girus and everything, you can kind of just spam out. And then on top of that, if you have some Bulmas on the field and with Pan's Awakened double draw side, you can build your hand up very quickly. I honestly, I think I'm going to get another one of these Gohans and probably take out a Topo. So I have 3 Topos and 3 Gohans just because 2's nice, but I would like to see at least one of these cards every game. So he's a really nice card, and if you get him out with the Relentless Pad, you give him a boost, and it's just... I mean, he already has double strike, but Miraculous Gohan is quite a good card in this deck. So now I believe those are all the battle cards I believe I have in here. So we're just going to do, I have 4 after image techniques. This is one of my favorite counterattacks. Your leader card is red. Choose up to 1 of your cards, and it gets plus 40,000 power for the duration of the battle. Then choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets negative 10,000 power for the duration of the turn, which is nice. So it can permanently weaken things, battle cards that is, or just straight up kill them. And then it has a sparkling 5. You can activate the counter by taking a life. So I think After Image kind of speaks for itself. This is a really nice card in this deck. Get rid of some things if you need to. I'm also running, I just added these to the deck, is 2 Unending Awakenings, which is a 1-drop counterattack. Negate the attack, then choose up to 1 of your red Saiyan leader cards. It gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn. Pan happens to be a Saiyan and an Earthling. So this can be nice if I'm just to make my opponent waste some more cards. You know, boost up Pan, bring her to either early game 15 or late game 20, and you just have to, you know, combo with something to get them over it, usually, at least from a leader's perspective. I haven't tested it yet with these yet, but I'm excited to, and I'm hoping that they perform pretty well. So that's the only thing that I'm not too excited at this point in this deck is thinking about it is I have 2 counterattacks from this, 4 after image techniques, and 4 topos, which means I have a total of 10 counters in this deck, which I think is a little much for the aggro-y nature of this deck. But if anything, I probably would pop out some of those topos. But so far, I'm happy. And then we have the super combo, the last cards I got over here, and that's 4 Master Roshis. I like these super combos much more than the other ones. Sparkling 5, you got 5 cards in your discard. When you combo with this card, if your leader card is red, draw 1 card. If not, all the other times you can just combo for 10 for free. So yeah, that was the deck profile for you. So usually it's a pretty quick deck. Just gonna go through some things real quick. Say turn 1, you do a Bulma to draw. Turn 2, you get Trunks out. Let's take this back a little. All right, so we're going to do turn 1 Trunks, critical, you do some life damage there. Turn 2, everybody's pal Yamcha, you get to search for some more cards. You get a Giru out there at some point because he's free. Then Miraculous Gohan if you can get your hand down quick enough. And then if you manage to evolve Trunks, you get to play a Pan, which then gives everything 5,000 in double strike. Let me get these a little tighter in here. And now you have 4 cards, possibly 5 with Giru if you do want to boost them up, that are pretty strong with double strike. Well, I guess not including Pan. But you could just do a lot of fun things with this deck. You can get a lot of big cards out. You can just keep attacking, and I quite enjoy it. I might tweak it a little here and there as time goes on. Set 6 is coming out, Destroyer Kings, pretty soon. I haven't looked into it too much besides some of the Broly and Gogeta cards, so maybe I'll add some more to this. But any ideas to change? I might find a way. The only suggestions I have, I don't really do too many sideboards. I play more casually, but I might try to fit a Planet M2 in there. You don't get the draw because you don't use Dr. Mew, but its activate battle is switch this card to rest mode. If it's your turn, choose up to 1 of your opponent's leader cards or battle cards, and it loses 5,000 power for the duration of the battle. Just to kind of save yourself a little bit, but I think for the quick attack, oh, it's chain attack. I thought it was quick attack. I was going to make a joke. Either way, the quick attack nature of this deck, this is just a little slower than I would like. For that 1 drop, I would rather play the Bulma to draw me a card and boost things, Trunks to get into chain attack Trunks, or even the, what's that old lady's name? Baba? Fortune Teller Baba to draw a card and then weaken something and boost something. So that's my deck profile. If you guys have any questions, comment. If you guys like what I do here, dropping a like and subscribe would be super helpful so I can keep making some nice content. See that somebody out here is enjoying it. And yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good day.